Hey there, folks. What's going on? It's Codiak and Livid coming back at you in stereo, and we are back for another Crucible character video. And today we are checking out Sazan, the one-woman army.
And let me tell you guys, she's an absolute monster. So Cody and I recently got a chance to sit down at a preview event for Crucible, and we got some hands-on with some of the characters, and this was one of them. So I guess the best way to introduce you all to this character is just jump right into the trailer. What do you think, Cody?
Let's do it. She just looks like a total badass,
Oh yeah.
You ready for action?
like Terminator style.
They call Sazan a one-woman army for a good reason.
And she is.
Never so much as rolls out of bed without
Commando
her
knives,
nursing
shotguns.
electro knife, and shotgun. She swaps them fast, and she gets
chipping
bonuses
people off.
based on what weapon she's holding.
Yeah. Her
Plus,
dash is
she's
crazy.
incredibly light on her feet. Dashes around the battlefield to take advantage of tactical openings. You may as well count her grudges as a weapon, too. She's convinced someone in the unit
it's just
get her old
constantly mowing
commando
people
squad
down.
dirty.
Oh yeah. It's very hard to get
I
away
know
from
she
her.
is never gonna let that one go. Frankly, I pity the poor sap who did it. Because she will find them. Eventually.
I'm always the last one standing.
All right, so now that we've both had the chance to play this character, man, what were your initial thoughts about Sazan? You know, you fired up the first game. What did you think about her?
I'm gonna go ahead and say that this character is one that I will probably just main because she is my absolute favorite out of all the ones that I tried.
I mean, and she elevates the whole like soldier archetype, right? There's more to her than just being a soldier.
Right. She's not just like the typical, like, just aim at things and shoot, kind of like, Soldier 76. She's not like that at all. She's much more quick on her feet. She has much more of like, there's actual a skill gap with her, which we'll get into. But she's really good, like, and fun to play. Like, when I say enjoyable, she's enjoyable.
Yeah. Take people through her core gameplay. As somebody who played a few matches with her, take people through her core gameplay. You can go through every ability if you want, but just really, what is the essence of playing a Sazan?
Right. So the essence with her is she doesn't operate with like other characters where she reloads her weapons. She kind of like spends them like that ammo, and then she is forced to switch to another one of her weapons in her kit. And when you swap to another weapon in a kit associated with whatever weapon it is, there's a buff. And those buffs you can get like speed, damage, cloaking, and you're just kind of like hot swapping between your three different weapons: your shotgun, your rifle, and your melee weapon. And you're just swapping between them, and you just kind of keep on your toes with dashes, trying to kite around enemies and go medium to close range in and out, just trying to harass enemies and just pepper them with damage.
Right. And the key to, and you said it's a melee weapon, but the key is really this electro knife. Tell people a little bit about why that weapon is so special.
So the weapon is really cool in the fact that it's a ranged skill shot. So you want to hit somebody with it at range. And what's cool about it is it not only does it apply a really long lasting dot effect on them, so they're going to constantly take damage, but it also will refresh the energy of your weapons. So if you've spent the energy from, say, your rifle and you're forced to switch to a different weapon, if you switch to the knife and you land a shot with it, it's going to refresh your rifle right away, which is really cool.
Yeah, and she's so good in different situations too, because the rifle is kind of a mid-range rifle. It's got a little bit of a kickback to it, but it's not too terrible to use. Then she's got the shotgun, which obviously 3 shots, up close, personal, tons of damage, and then the knife. So she's super fluid and flexible in the game.
Yeah, and the other really cool thing about her is, we'll get into this also, but there's a perk with her that when you're swapping your weapons, you heal, which is cool. So you can use it as like a utility to kind of sustain yourself in fights, which is really cool.
Yeah. All right. So where does she fit on a team? You know, we were playing Heart of the Hive, which is a 4v4 game mode. Where does she fit on that team comp?
She's your hard DPS. Like, anybody that picks her, you're going to be the one responsible for taking down the Hive most of the time, keeping players away, just dealing damage and moving on to the next target. That's like your goal as that character.
Yeah, and she has a lot of mobility, like Livid said before. Once we talk about the essence upgrades, you'll see there is so much flexibility and mobility with this character. Maybe she's not the most mobile, or maybe she doesn't do the most DPS, but she checks off a lot of the boxes.
Yeah, she's all around really good at what she does.
All right, so when you were in the game modes, though, how about counters? Who were you struggling to kill with Sazan?
So Drakal is If he gets up on you and you really can't get away from him because he can pull you back, keep chasing you down, and he keeps sustaining himself through like lifesteal, through bleeds and stuff like that, it just becomes a real hard thing to deal with. Like sometimes you can get away though because of your dashes and everything, and you can swap to keep healing. But he's really hard to get away with and deal with. Summer is really annoying. Basically, those characters that really get up close to you are ones that are really problematic to deal with.
Right. You split that line between being in that kind of middle ranged position where you don't want to get too close to enemies, but you want to be close enough that you can use your shotgun. Because if you get too close to a Drakal or a Summer, they're going to be able to get you down.
Yeah, they do a lot of damage up close. So that's definitely her weakness, is people that get up close to her.
All right, so why don't we talk through the essence upgrades, just so everybody knows at home. You have to pick your essence upgrades before you go into a match. During the match, it's a PvEVP type game. There are PvE elements to the game. As you level up, you're going to unlock those things that you selected. So Livis, take us through level 1 here.
So for level 1, she has 3 options. The first one is Restorative Exchange. And when you swap weapons, you heal for 20 health. So every time you're swapping, you're just sustaining yourself, which is really good. And mid-fight, it's a nice little burst heal, in between things. So it keeps you going on the battlefield. Or you have the option, number 2 is Stalker's Knife. The Electro Knife detects targets within 25 meters on impact. So it's kind of a cool thing where if you hit somebody or you hit a wall, it kind of does like a pulse and kind of detects enemies around there, which is kind of neat. I don't know how useful it really is. The health kit thing I think is way better. And then the third option is taking cover. Completing interactions or using medkits cloaks you for 5 seconds, which that could be a very good option also, because if you're in the middle of combat and you manage to sneak away for just a second right before somebody jumps on you and you get off that medkit, you immediately just go cloak for 5 seconds and can slip away even more and let that heal fully go off.
And it's a good opportunity to tell people, after playing the game for a few hours, it is a little bit slower in terms of time to kill than other shooters that you've probably played. So there's a lot more strategy. Intelligence is really important, really understanding when you need to move between PvP and PvE. So there's a lot more layers to Crucible than I think a lot of people know about. And I think that's going to be really exciting for people, especially when they get a character like Sazan, who can do both the PvE and the PvP decently well.
Yeah, and your life is worth a lot in this game. Like if you go down, it's a detriment to your team.
Right, you're down for what, 20 seconds or so?
Yeah, you're down for a significant amount of time, plus the time it takes you to respawn and get back to where your team's at.
All right, so let's look at level 2 here. This is fully engaged. Swapping weapons grants short-term passive abilities. Electro Knife gains a cloak, Shotgun gains speed boost, and Inertia Gun gains a 150 shield. So like Livid was saying before, as you're swapping the weapons, you're gaining these small buffs. And the level 2, that's your only option. This is the only thing you're going to need because it's such a good passive essence upgrade. I mean, that shield is fantastic. The speed boost allows you to be even more mobile. And then, of course, the Electro Knife, just getting into position to fire that thing off for some massive dot damage, it's just a really great essence upgrade that works with the fiber of the character.
Yeah, it complements her kit extremely well. It's like one of the best designed, I think, passives that are in there so far.
Absolutely. All right, let's look at level 3 here. Take us through that one.
So for level 3, you have 3 options once again. For the first one, you get Capacitor Overflow, which when you swap weapons, you get a 6% damage boost for 10 seconds. So as you all know, you're constantly swapping between weapons. This is an overall really good essence upgrade because you're just, boosting your damage by 6% constantly. And you swap your weapon way more often than 10 seconds. So you're constantly refreshing this buff. So you always get like a sustained push on your damage there. Your second choice here is Full Blast Shot. Shotgun knocks targets back and it makes it more accurate. Now, this could be something, I didn't get a chance to really experiment with this, but this could be a solution to really dealing with like Drakals and stuff like that. Characters get up close, you hit them with the shotgun, they get knocked back and you escape. That could be a good solution. And then the third choice is Cut and Run. Jet Dash inflicts 60 damage and a 60 dot to opponents. So it's as you're dashing around, you can move through them and just constantly do damage and apply dots as you're doing other damage, which is it's pretty fun to use.
Right. And all 3 of those really take the character not in a drastically different direction, but they each open up a different avenue to play Sazan the way that you want to play. Like Livid said, if you want that shotgun, if you want to stay away from your opponents, taking that shotgun knockback essence upgrade may be really important for you. You may be able to pass on the damage upgrade because you just want to make sure that, Drakal and Summer can't get close. And then totally out of left field, you have Cut and Run, which again, it's a mobile character. You can use Jet Dash pretty often, especially once you reach level 4, which we're about to talk about. But if you want to use that as an offensive ability, that adds another layer to the character that's really interesting.
Oh, 100%.
All right, take us through level 4 here.
So level 4, it's just like level 2 where you get one slotted essence upgrade. That's all you get for that one. It's go the extra mile. And what it does is the number of your dashes increases from 1 to 2. And this, Cody can attest to this as well.
Game changer.
It's a game changer because the cooldown is already pretty short on dash, but having 2 charges of this thing, it makes the other one almost refreshed by the time you're done with your second. So your movement is doubled. You know, the amount of times you can dash. You have way more options to engage and disengage. You could play a little more, I want to say recklessly, you know, and kind of can get away with it usually. So it's a really good essence upgrade.
Yeah, and it's a rolling refresh. So you use it and then it starts to roll. I think it's a 4-second cooldown if I remember correctly. So it starts to roll and you can keep stacking them up. So you can kind of space them out if you always want to have a jet dash available, or you can pop them both at, you know, one after the other. So it's a little flexible how you use that, which is really cool. You know, I mean, one of the best essence upgrades you could possibly want for this character, giving you even more mobility.
And it's great that it's mandatory.
That's right. All right, level 5. I'll take you through the first one here. Upping the voltage. Gain 33% extra energy per weapon. Increases electro-knife's damage by 33%. I mean, come on. You're talking about more ammo. You're talking about more DPS. You're talking about electro-knife damage getting a nice boost. It's a decent essence upgrade.
Yeah, not only that, but you don't have to swap as often, which is good because there are cooldowns on those swaps. So extending the life of the time that you get to use your weapon for, you know, having an extra shot in that shotgun, or, you know, I think it's like 3 or 4 more shots on your rifle is significant. And it can be the difference between you getting a kill or not getting a kill.
Right. And if it wasn't clear before, reloading is not really a thing with this character. It's all about that weapon swap. So when you're out of ammunition or energy on one weapon, you have to swap to another one to refresh the energy on the weapon you just depleted. So it's not a standard hit R and your weapon reloads. It does not work that way.
Yeah, and that's something you definitely have to get used to, but it's really good.
Yeah, it's really rewarding when you get the swaps just right.
And then so the second choice in that tree is Disruptor Charge. So the first shot with your inertia gun disrupts target abilities for a half a second. So that could be really good. I never experimented with that because I just overall found that the upping the voltage was superior just in the way it already played out. Like you felt the difference when you got it. For this, half a second, it could mean the difference, you know, like if you get grabbed by a Drakal, right? And your ally gets grabbed by a Drakal and you shoot that and you disrupt that could save that person, you know? So it could be a kind of good utility thing, but how often you have your gun at full, it's really situational and you have to swap off it. So it's off for a lot more time. You're not getting the benefit from that as much.
Yeah, being able to hot swap to your inertia gun and then only getting that first shot. I mean, the stars kind of have to align for that to work properly. While it may work in some situations, I think the damage output that you get from upping the voltage is just far superior at this point.
Yeah, who knows? They could change all this stuff.
That's right. All right, so final word on Sazan. You really enjoyed her, so break it down for people. What's the final word on this character?
I think if we're talking like meta, I think she's a meta character. I think she's one of the best characters they have implemented in the game right now, without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, she's so strong. She's got both the PvE and PvP aspects to her. She's got a low health pool, a pretty small health pool, but the mobility makes up for it. She is more of a commando than any character that I think I've ever played in any sort of first-person shooter competitive game. You know, most people say that a commando is, it's just an auto attack hero. There's a little bit more to Sazan than I think I've ever seen in any sort of military commando type character, and I love that about her.
I think they're doing a really good job doing good takes on kits that are different from a lot of other, you know, games in the genre.
Yeah, it feels familiar, but feels different in a good way.
Yeah, in a very good way.
All right, guys. Well, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you want more Crucible content in your feed, don't forget to like and subscribe. We just opened up the Crucible section to our Discord, so if you want to be part of our Crucible community, come on in. That link is below. And from everyone here at Legion Gaming, on behalf of myself and Livid, thanks for watching, and play on.
Take care, guys.